Hey, everybody. Chris with APPlife Digital Solutions. Welcome to today's investor presentation. Super excited to talk about the company, history of the company, where we're at today, where we're going. We're super excited. So allow me to let some people to join into the call. Hang tight for just a second, okay? One. Bear with us, folks. We're just getting warmed up here. Allow us to just get organized. Apologize. We're having just a little bit of technical issues, but should be fine here in just a second, okay? Everybody hear me okay? Nod if you can see me. Haren, can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, great. Thanks, Haren. Well, let me give you an overview for the call today. First thing we're going to do is wanted to introduce the CEO for the company and the Chief Financial Officer, Barrett Evans. I think Barrett's going to be here in just a second. I think I see him just showed up. After we do a quick introduction with the management team, I'm going to go through the investor presentation, talk about the company, the history of the company, what the company's about, where we've been, where we're at today, and what the future looks like. So that'll be the main core of the business presentation today. Also have some nice introductions to some key role players in the organization that I'll bring into the call as well. And then I'm going to do a quick demonstration of some of the unique technology we have developed that solves some of the biggest challenges that the automotive parts sellers face today. So pretty groundbreaking technology we'll reveal. Super excited to show you that technology. We'll do a quick Q&A at the end of that for anybody that's interested. It has questions we're happy to answer, and then I'll make a final closing statement. So let me now bring to the stage Barrett Evans, our CFO. Barrett, can you hear us okay? I don't hear you, Barrett. Hold on. Testing. Can you hear us? Any luck? I don't hear him. Does anybody else hear him? I apologize if I'm having technical difficulties. Take your time, Barrett. It's okay. We got time. There it is. I think I hear you. Okay.
Oh, great. Nice to meet everyone. I'm Barrett Evans. I'm the CFO of APPlife Digital Solutions, and happy to be here today to represent the company and watch Chris share what we're doing, all the exciting things we're doing at Lift Kits for Less and Sugar Auto Parts. I'm available for any questions at the end of the presentation as well. Look forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks. And I normally have someone help me with this process, but I'm a one-man machine today. So hang in there with me, guys. So thanks. Okay, great. Let me jump right into the investor presentation. Give me 1 second. Okay. So what is APPlife Digital Solutions? First of all, we are a publicly traded company on the OTC markets. Our ticker is ALDS. So before we jump into an investor presentation, want to just always remind everybody that investments come with risks. You need to do your due diligence. We're fully audited, fully SEC compliant, current financially, so you can go review our financials. You can meet with us at any time. I've also dropped into the chat anybody that wants to schedule a meeting with us. My calendar is in there. Please feel free to connect with us. We're happy to answer questions. Happy to do one-on-one calls. We got a big story to tell, a big opportunity. We're super excited. So feel free to reach out to us directly anytime to talk about the company. So what is APPlife Digital Solutions? And what does the business consist of? It's really three major components. One is liftkitsforless.com. That is an e-commerce website where we sell Jeep lift kit parts, suspension parts, aftermarket items, steps, bumpers, and so on. The other big part of the company is our marketplace, Sugar Auto Parts. So that's supply side and demand side. So sellers and buyers, B2B and B2C. And then the third component of the company is our software, full DevOps division of the company, where we create unique software solutions specifically targeted for the auto parts industry. Very cool technology that we've developed that I'll be demonstrating shortly. That's really what the company is. Those three key components to our organization. So give me 1 second. So going back to the start of the company, which was Lift Kits for Less, we first kind of started selling. It was really me essentially selling parts online through eBay, and those were interesting days, because that was still kind of early when people, believe it or not, it wasn't that long ago, but people were still kind of weird about buying things online. So, is it safe to use my credit card online and things like that? And today we just take it for granted. We store credit cards online. But anyway, it started with Lift Kits for Less. And there's a lot to unpack about Lift Kits for Less and the history of the company. Real quick, in 2021, it was the biggest year for the company. We generated $16 million in revenue through Lift Kits for Less. So very exciting year. We were benefiting from the stimulus money, but there was a very dark downside to that year, and that was we couldn't ship anything. A big part of our supplier network came out of California. California was basically shut down. So as much as we enjoyed selling $16 million worth of parts online, the dark side was we refunded $5 million in orders. And frankly, that was catastrophic to our business. Simultaneously, we were trying to uplist to the NASDAQ, and then the NASDAQ collapsed simultaneously. So ultimately, Lift Kits for Less basically went out of business, and we kind of shifted in our focus to focus strictly on the marketplace at the time, which was called Auto Parts for Less. Anyway, today where we stand with Lift Kits for Less is very exciting. So after the company's assets were acquired by APPlife Digital Solutions, they really turned the company around. So Lift Kits for Less is back. We've expanded our catalog from 120,000 SKUs to 170,000 SKUs, and we did that mostly through technology. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. We're very good at uploading data into our both Lift Kits for Less and our marketplace. And we're able to normalize that data and make it flow seamlessly. And that's a very challenging aspect to the auto parts industry. And we have used technology to really solve that challenge. So also, what we improved our operations is when in 2021, we were selling items. We didn't know what was available. We didn't know what the inventory was. We just were selling anything and everything and just trying to generate as much revenue. We were super excited to get to the NASDAQ. And it really was, I don't want to say bad business. It's always good to make a sale, but when you're not able to deliver the product, you can really upset buyers and really destroy your buyer base and create a lot of bad blood. So where we stand today is we actually now show the exact available quantity for a product on Lift Kits for Less, and I'll demonstrate that to you shortly. So if there's 3 available, 50 available, 150 available, that is exact real-time inventory from our suppliers. In addition, we're able to send orders electronically. So we simply just click one button, that order gets sent digitally in a digital conversation, and then it comes back in a digital conversation when it ships. And all of that is essentially automated. So we're very much a technology first organization, depend heavily on technology today to make everything flow. And then what we'll be talking a little bit more later in the call is how AI has really changed our company and how we're using AI to solve huge challenges that the industry faces. So super exciting what AI has done. So let's jump into the next slide. And basically, it's a continuation of this story. Obviously, when you look at building a parts-only marketplace, which is what the future looks like for our organization, a parts-only marketplace, it starts with a foundation, and that foundation was Lift Kits for Less. We use Lift Kits for Less to learn how to do e-commerce. We learned how to import thousands, tens of thousands of products, how to accurately show inventory, how to onboard sellers, and how to really grow into e-commerce and work with all of the partners out there, the ASAPs, the DCIs, the PDMs, the SEMAs, how you can then also import year, make, model, fitment and data. So working with ACEs, for anybody that doesn't know, that's the standard for year, make, model, fitment. There's also eBay uses their own data, which is called an EPID. And then you have Auto Care Association, which is trying to normalize data and fitment. Anyway, the bottom line is Lift Kits for Less was completely destroyed, and it's now really come back in a big, bold way, and it's driving all of our revenue. I think if you follow our financials, the previous Q we did around 400 grand. The second Q we did 800 grand. So those numbers aren't perfect. You can look them up, but roughly we doubled our revenue. And it's because of this technology we implemented, increased inventory SKUs, much more efficient ordering, creating confidence for consumers when they buy, their orders will ship. So, transitioning to somewhat of the future, when you look at the automotive parts industry, and if you're interested in investing in the auto parts industry, it is a massive, massive opportunity. And it's really it's underserved currently. When you look at who the big players are, obviously a brick and mortar, the Napas, the O'Reillys, those are a hard part. And those are standard, one seller trying to get their message out. But the overall space is massive, right? 617 projected for 2027. And this is just, US. And then you look at where e-commerce is coming online. Look at, the numbers are staggering. And then what's interesting is that automotive parts were never sold online, and COVID changed that. It was always a single digit growth year over year. And then COVID came along and it turned into a double digit growth, and that is sustained since COVID. So pretty exciting. So the addressable market is huge. The opportunity there is interesting, because if you just go, okay, if you could become the face of that, what does that look like from a value standpoint or an investment standpoint? And what's interesting when you look at all the marketplaces out there today, so they've essentially have kind of disrupted everything. So from the Ubers disrupting car rideshare to Etsy with the arts and craft. What do you got? Flipkart, Instacart is now the big one, a new player on the block that's for food. And those are really interesting business models. These marketplaces are incredibly, when executed, they become incredibly valuable, because essentially they're leveraging the massive infrastructure cost that those companies have already invested in. So you take Airbnb, like Airbnb has a very small labor force, relatively a small amount of just technical costs, and their market cap is in the billions of dollars, more than like Marriott, Hilton Group, that has all of the employees, all the infrastructure, all of the really intensive costs. Those costs don't exist for these marketplaces. So they're really interesting business models. So here's the truth about why, in my opinion, why there's never been a marketplace dedicated to the parts industry. You have two significant challenges, massive challenges. One is the catalog size for the automotive parts industry is insanely large. So as you can see, eBay Motors, I think that number is even bigger today. This might be slightly outdated, but eBay carries 110 million parts in their eBay Motors catalog. It's just staggering. Like Chewy.com is a $10 billion a year business. It has 100,000 SKUs. So when you look at automotive, the first challenge is how do you build an infrastructure, a technical infrastructure that allows you to list millions and millions of parts, and then allow sellers to try to tag onto that and sell that as well. So anyway, it's a massive problem. The second biggest, and I think probably the larger challenge, is year, make, model, fitment. How do you streamline year, make, model, fitment for everybody to participate? So that's even more daunting. And if you can imagine like a spark plug, 20,000 vehicles, one spark plug could fit 20,000 different vehicles. So these year, make, model, fitment files are just insanely large, and they sit on top of an insanely large. So this is the crux of why I believe the automotive parts industry has never had a dedicated parts only marketplace. And so could, if a company wanted to, could they solve the problems, those two major problems. At this point, what I want to do is I want to introduce Kier from Commerce Pundit. I'm going to bring him on the stage here in a second. So Kier, what I'll let Kier explain to you. Kier was the architect behind the technology that we built on Sugar Auto Parts, allowing sellers to list those products, update those products, and I try to explain this in simple terms. It's basically we had to build a 1,000-lane freeway in a town of 10 people. So you had to build this massive infrastructure, and so if you build it, hopefully they'll come. But let me grab Kier here, and let me throw up really quick here so people know who you are. Kier, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Thank you, Chris.
Hi. So again, Kier was actually hired by the CEO of Commerce Pundit to take over this project. He was literally brought in to help build this massive infrastructure. Why don't you talk about what Sugar Auto Parts is from an infrastructure standpoint, why it's significant, what the huge challenges were, and what it was built to do.
No, thank you, Chris, for allowing me to enter on this, great talk. And I still feel, very big proud about this project, because it's not like just normal e-commerce website or something that can be done in just few months or few days. This is like massive platform, literally like a scalable, very big platform. And it was like really biggest challenge I can say we solved. But the main part is like normal e-commerce having like 1,000, 10,000 product. This is like how you mentioned about eBay, like 110 million products. Right now we have more than 6 million products on the platform actively working, continuously syncing the inventory and so many more things. So this is not just like normal platform. It's a super scalable. It's not like just dealing with the 1,000 product. As I mentioned, it's like millions of SKU continuously sync with the company called Sheridan. So we update the inventory every few minutes, and any seller who like to be on board on this platform, much easier. They don't have to do anything. Mostly they use the Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, BigCommerce, or any platform. We have plugin out of the box. So we build that plugin, handle the millions of requests. So every day, mostly if I count about the transactions, more than billions of transactions. That's not e-commerce transaction. That's like internal system transaction. That's hard to handle by normal any platform. So this is a massive problem we solve with this platform. This is like very future proof. We use the technology super enterprise grade, like where they can scale many more years. Super security is number one concern, and that we took care with this platform very well.
Great.
So that's
really quick, talk about scalability. So if in terms of going from 6 million products to 8 million to 10 million, how is the actual infrastructure designed to manage the growth and future growth? Because what we're trying to present to the community is we built this for scale. We built this as a rocket ship. We didn't want to get, 200 feet in the air and have it crash down. So just quickly try to convey what the scalability of this is.
So we have tested as a dev environment up to 40 million product, and it worked very smoothly. But we designed it easily can handle up to 100 million product, which is almost we are compared to the eBay. That's massive. Just we have to give the horsepower, in technical word, RAM and CPU. That's it.
Amazing. So that's so that's the ultimate build it and you hope they will come, because we had to literally build something so massive, because if it's going to work, you want to be able to scale, you want to be able to quickly take advantage of the opportunity. So thank you again, Kier, for joining us. I want to quickly introduce the CEO for Commerce Pundit. Let me bring him into the call here. Hiren Modi, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Chris.
So when we talk about the 3 pillars to the APPlife Digital Solutions, lift kits for less, Sugar Auto Parts, and then our commerce division, full DevOps. Tell me quickly about full DevOps. What are the capabilities that we as an organization can execute? Tell me quickly, and then we'll appreciate your time here.
So, I think all this DevOps and everything, as Keyur and Chris, you both have mentioned this. It is super powerful system, scalable system, and the entire technology team, which are working behind this entire project and entire system. It is mind-boggling. The data warehousing, data scientists, data thing we are managing with especially adding AI thing, Chris. That is the superpower of this entire auto parts industry, and that is what we have introduced in Sugar Auto Parts.
Awesome. Haren, thank you so much. I've got a lot to cover. You're a dear friend of mine. Appreciate you being our partner in this project, staying with us through the good years, the rough years. You are a blessing in my life. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So, number one, could you build an infrastructure big enough? We accomplished that. We built it. Massive infrastructure. Sellers can join. They have their own ecosystem, their own store. They're able to ship their own orders. B2B wholesale, you could just be a wholesaler on the platform. So if you want to just wholesale products, if you're a huge wholesaler, you can go to Sugar Auto Parts right now. You can sign up to become a seller through the platform, become a wholesaler. Now, we are beta testing. We're in beta test phase right now on Sugar Auto Parts. So any sellers that sign up, we're not onboarding any sellers currently, any more sellers. But feel free, if you want to learn more, click and join. And then as soon as we're able to start launching, and which will be a slow, we want to be methodical how we roll this out. We want it to be successful. We don't want to fall on our face. I think when we first rolled this out back in 21, 22, we got a little out of our skis, as they say. So we sell through the platform, and we did not do that before. And the reason, and I think that was a mistake when I look at today, because now we're seeing where the errors occur. We're seeing the pain points for sellers. And so we're able to quickly pivot, fix those, and move on. So we think we have a better plan for the future. We have a lot more technology today, and I'm going to demonstrate that shortly. Okay. So the second biggest portion to this conversation is year, make, model, fitment. And this is truly, it's an industry problem, and I'm going to demonstrate some samples of industry problems where it falls short. The bottom line is we have created an interesting solution here. We think it's groundbreaking. We know it's groundbreaking. This has never been done before. This is AI year, make, model, fitment solution. And I'm going to demonstrate this shortly. Haren kind of talked a little bit about that. And it's not just year, make, model, fitment. It's really all data cleansing, normalizing the data, improving the data, and using artificial intelligence to do that at scale. It's very exciting. Okay. So again, going back to 21, a lot of people are like, what were the wins when you originally rolled this out? Obviously, those wins were the immediate acceptance of a parts-only marketplace. There is no alternative to eBay, Amazon, or Walmart when it talks to a true double-sided marketplace, supply side, demand side. There are pure B2B marketplaces. I don't know if I'd call them a marketplace, a true marketplace, but there are other solutions. But we were the first one to come out. And so we instantly had a huge amount of sellers express interest in selling through the platform. The biggest sellers, when I say, I don't want to call it specific names, but when you think of the biggest brands, they were like, we're in, we want to be part of this. We want to be a first mover on this. We're in, count us in. And so there was about 330, enterprise sellers join. These are large. So average, 10,000 products, 100,000 products. We had one seller with 1 million products, and our catalog ballooned instantly to 6 million products. And then simultaneously, buyers were showing up. So we know proof of concept exists. We just needed to fix the problems that we were facing. Okay, so now, just so everybody understands the business model of a marketplace, it's really quite simple. So we're not carrying inventory. We're not warehousing inventory. We have really no massive overhead. This is a low capex model. Really, all of the cost is absorbed by your sellers. The sellers hold their inventory. They're the ones responsible for shipping. They're the ones who are dealing with disputes. We use PayPal as our global payment provider. So moment a sale is made, the seller is paid. All of that is managed through the platform efficiently and successfully. But we don't, it's just the model in itself is really clean. We get a little piece of every sale, and that's 10%. And then we can monetize in the future other things like subscription services. We could sell advertising, promoted listings, we could sell data, help sellers in multiple ways. But right now we're just a simple take model. And then we've had zero pushback. There wasn't a single seller saying, we'll join, but you got to give us a break. They were all like, 10%'s a deal, we're in. So that was the big win. The other thing that's unique about marketplaces is they benefit from a phenomenon called network effects, and single sellers don't have this. So Rock Auto is not a marketplace. It's one company with a microphone trying to sell to the world, and they do an amazing job. No knock on them, but it's just they don't benefit from network effects. And network effects are very interesting because as more buyers join on the buy side, that's more valuable to a seller. Obviously, if there's more buyers, you're like, great, I'm selling more. And as more sellers join, well, that becomes more valuable to a buyer. Why? They're competing. They're competing on ship times, quality of their seller rating, their prices, the return policy, and so on and so forth. So this is these business models, marketplace models, the Airbnbs, the Ubers, the Amazons, the Etsy's, these things, when they go, they become self-perpetuating and they just explode on their own. And that's why is one of the exciting reasons you could think about investing in these types of businesses. Obviously, we know the big success stories out there, and everybody knows these companies. These are marketplaces. They're highly successful when they are executed correctly, and they take over their industry. They become the major player. Okay, where we're at today, what we're focused on is we are all in on using artificial intelligence. Really, it's large language models to enhance data, improve the data. I'm going to show you some samples of that. We're going to continue to onboard sellers as we move for the next few months, as we get through our beta test here. I think beta is going to last probably another 3 months. With months 4, 5, and 6, we'll start using select sellers that we feel are the right fit. Maybe they sell power sports, or they sell marine parts, or there's heavy duty equipment. So remember, we're a marketplace made up of all automotive parts. We're not just car and truck. We are the entire market. And again, that addressable market size is very large and very exciting. All right. At this point, I want to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to do some quick demonstrations on some of the technology we've developed. Before I do that, let me see. Okay, great. Let me share my screen. Okay. So Lift Kits for Less. Like I said, this is really our incubator. This is where we do a lot of our testing, and then we take these tools and we apply them to the marketplace. One of the cool features that we developed, and if there's any part sellers here, you might find this really intriguing. So you ever get someone call you up and they're like, hey, do you have this part available? Is it in stock? How many do you have? So we created this inventory feed, if you will, for all of our major suppliers. So if they have it available, how many in their location. On the front end, we show this in real time with available quantity. There's 41 in stock. This creates confidence for the consumer. This is in stock and it's ready to ship. The other, you can, on the warehouse grid, you can hover over. So if someone says, hey, I'm outside of Dallas, Texas. We're like, well, I've got 4 of them in Arlington. If you order it today, you'll probably get it tomorrow. They're like, oh, great. So I don't know if I think our industry faces a challenge where a lot of people are it's in stock, but it's not in stock. And we have a lot of manufacturers that even face this challenge where it's in stock, but it's really not. So what we're trying to do is present to buyers that this is available. There's an exact available quantity and you can order it. So, and these are, we do this for every single one of our brands that we sell. MBRP, same thing. We can see available quantity across all of our distributors. This is really cool technology that we developed. Now, we also have pricing. I hit my pricing because that's proprietary. And normally I would see my price fields here. So what's Terms charging me, what Meyer is charging me, so on and so forth. So anyway, that's pretty cool technology. One of the cool features that we've designed here. I'm going to do a quick purchase on the platform. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this. Says there's one in stock. Let's hope it works. Anyway, I'll go ahead and buy this. Let me check out really quick. And then I'll show you how we process these orders through technology. Allow me just a quick second here. It's pretty fast. Okay. Apologize, bear with me. All right, so I just placed this order. When the order comes into the back end of our platform, I'm going to process this order. So I want to show you this. This is really how we streamline our operations this year. So, okay. So here's my order. It's me, obviously. This is the back end of our Magento platform, Lift Kits for Less. And I can see that the risk score is here, so I don't have to worry about any kind of fraud. Consumers information, blah, blah, blah. It says turn 14. So I'm going to go check my warehouse link, my grid. And I'm going to see what the available inventory is. It says we have one. I'm going to get rid of MBRP and turn. So I can actually hit with the API, I can actually ping this and confirm it with turn 14. So I'm actually going to ping this and see if this goes to 0. If it goes to 0, it's out of stock. So it's a good solid feed. So this is 100% in stock. Now I'm going to process this order digitally. All I have to do is here, select turn 14. If it's a high value item, I might select include signature, but in this situation, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to process the order and I'm done. This is fully automated from this moment on. I don't touch this again. So as soon as this ships, it comes back in a call, automatically set to the consumer, and they get a text message, they get an email, and their order is done essentially. So pretty cool technology. Let me now, bear with me. Let me stop sharing for a second. Okay, great. Everybody still with me? Hopefully everybody's sticking with me. This is hopefully people find this interesting. So just so you're aware, these solutions I'm showing you, these are available from us. So if you're a manufacturer, you're an e-commerce seller, and you need help with this, we can deploy these tools on your platform. So we're full DevOps, full software development, solving some of the biggest challenges that automotive part sellers face. Let me fix this. Christopher. Okay, cool. Now, I want to demonstrate next our year, make, model fitment solution. So this is probably the single largest challenge to selling parts online is how do you address year, make, model fitment? And I'm here today to tell you that after months of work and a lot of hours and dedication, the team has come up with an incredible solution, and I'm going to demonstrate that. Bear with me when I share my screen. Okay. Let me close this stuff. Okay. All right. So here's Sugar Auto Parts. Beautiful site, fast, like super fast, all API driven. This is Kier's baby. The world's largest parts only marketplace, currently 6 million parts in our catalog. So what you're actually seeing here is ASAP data. This was brought into us by ASAP. We imported this data about 2 weeks ago. The title says it fits a 22 to 26 F250, F350, F450. That's great. And so beautiful description. And I think Amanda at ASAP does some of the best work out there. For you guys that don't understand how building data works, is that manufacturers will often outsource building or digitizing their information about year, make, model fitment, their descriptions. So there's 4 major players in this today: ASAP, PDM, SEMA, and DCI or Catalog Rack. This, I instantly can see data now. It's kind of scary. And I know who this data comes from because I can see how it's laid out, features, benefits. This is really helpful for consumers. We want to answer all of their questions so that they're confident when they buy. Now, this is in Amanda's feed, in the ASAP feed. It says it fits 23 to 25. Okay, whatever. We would then normalize that load it into our parts finder, and it would show up here in a parts finder field. So right now it's not here. The problem is this is actually already out of date. And this is what all of us face as sellers in the auto parts world. This is out of date. This fits 2026. It's actually a rollover year and it fits. I went to Amazon. Amazon only shows us fitting up to 24. So that's interesting. But anyway, how do you solve this problem where you're constantly, well, this is just one brand. On Sugar Auto Parts, we could have 1,000 brands. How do we streamline this so that we can make this work for all sellers, for the buyer? The guy shows up at your website, he puts in, I got a 2026, and there's nothing that fits, and you're losing that customer. That is bad business for all of us. And I face that challenge. And I face that challenge on Lift Kits for Less. All these brands, all of this data, it's constantly has to be updated. And there's not really a great streamlined way to do that. You either have a dedicated team member that's working on fitment all the time. It's insanely complex. And there's no standard. Everybody's doing their own thing. You got Aces, you got Auto Care, you got eBay doing ePids. So, I was like, please. So this is our big reveal. This is our big moment that we have been working on. And what this is artificial intelligence looking out across the world at its databases and saying, what does this fit? So this is the back end of our platform. You're seeing something that most people don't ever see. This is Sugar Auto Parts, the brain of the company. And I wanted to go search fitment and generate a fitment file for me. So, and then automatically load that onto Sugar Auto Parts and make that part of the master vehicle fitment. And let's see how long. Now I'll warn you, if technology works well, it's done in split seconds. So it's kind of anticlimactic, but let me generate fitment with this using artificial intelligence or large language models. Okay, it's done. It's done. So amazing, right? So allow this to do its thing here. It's updating. It's working. It's thinking. Sorry, it's generating. I think we need a drum roll while it runs through this process. Okay, so I go to the front. I'm going to refresh. And now, what does it say? Fits 2026. So this is an incredible breakthrough for us. This eliminates massive amount of data work for us where we can leverage technology to update fitment instantly through our platform. Meaning we can run this on a cron job and say, update all models once a month or update all current models for rollover so that we can go through and provide fitment for our sellers and for us as a seller. We could take the same technology and apply it to Lift Kits for Less. And we currently are. We're testing that currently on Lift Kits for Less. We are missing sales every single day on Lift Kits for Less because of missing rollover years or wrong fitment. And it's not just fitment. If you notice the language model, we taught it that for this category, which is steps, the cab type is critical. Because if you have a single cab or a double cab, this does not fit. So it's an additional field, additional amount of technology. It's not just simply year, make, model, submodel, and trim. It's also cab type. That is an incredible intelligence that takes for that to recognize that there's additional information needed. So this isn't just year, make, model, fitment. It's also other attributes that are critical for this to fit. So we are super excited. I would love to take the time to show you how fitment's done on eBay, but I won't put you through that pain. But I wanted to quickly demonstrate this year, make, model fitment tool. This is a game changer for the industry, for us. And I hope that you find this as excited as we are. It's kind of silly to think about parts finding being exciting, but I'm super excited. Anyway, let me, if there's any questions anybody wants to ask, maybe you can drop them in the comment link. And I don't know if you can see that here. If there's a comment link. And I also shared our calendar. So if you're interested in deploying this technology on your platforms or at your business, we're open to, we would do a discovery call with our DevOps team, and we could implement these tools for you as well. We're actually, I'm just ecstatic about solving this problem. I mean, it's such a huge challenge for the industry to come up with year and make model fitment, and the fact now that we can solve that within seconds. And now I notice we demoed that on one single product, but we actually can apply it to the entire brand and do it and run it. But it usually takes about an hour for a brand to be completed. So anyway, any questions that I can answer? I can only see questions inside a inside a StreamYard. So I want to thank everybody for showing up today. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found it if you're as excited as we are for the future of APPlife Digital Solutions. It's an amazing business. We're super excited for what we built, how we're going to, how we have the opportunity to go after a huge market like the auto parts industry. Let me just read to you closing statements that I prepared, and then we'll just conclude this call for the day. I want to thank you again, everyone, for joining us today, participating in this discussion on behalf of APPlife Digital Solutions. We truly appreciate your time and your interest in what we're building. We hope today's presentation gave you a clear understanding of the company, the opportunity, automotive aftermarket, and the technology we've developed to support it. The automotive parts industry represents an enormous addressable market, and we believe our platform, our technology has demonstrated today our position, how we're uniquely positioned to participate in that transformation. For anyone who would like to continue this conversation, I've dropped my calendar link in the chat. Michael, the CEO of the company, Barrett, we're all available to talk. Frankly, we're looking for investors to help us grow, to take this opportunity. Check out APPlife Digital Solutions. Our ticker is ALDS. Again, thank you so much. I'm Chris Davenport. I'm the original founder of Lift Kits for Less. I want to thank you for showing up today. I hope you found this exciting and not terribly boring, because it's auto parts and there's funner things in life to talk about. But I'm excited for the future. Let me just play you a short. Well, that's it. Thank you so much. I don't see any questions here, so thank you, everybody. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.